How do you deal with the fear of career change? To what extent does luck play a role in job hunting? And how do you balance the need for money versus meaning when it comes to career thinking? I answered all these questions and more that you've been sending in this video. I'm Raj, let's dive in. Nils asks, how did career change feel? Was it scary? And if so, how did you deal with that? Nils, yes, I was scared. And I think it's useful to separate a few of the things I was scared about. The first of those is money. I was worried I'd run out of savings before I figured out what I wanted to do, or that I'd fall for something, find out that it would never pay enough, or that it would require super expensive retraining. Second, I worried I was just deluding myself with the whole career change thing. I'd spent so much time in my previous career, would I even be able to adapt? And third, I worried about isolation. I worried about missing out on the day-to-day conversations I'd been having with people over the past few years and that I'd grown fond of. As for how I dealt with it, honestly, I procrastinated at first. Over time, I felt a little bit more comfortable about separating out those strands of what I was fearful about, and that made it a whole lot easier to make each of those elements feel somewhat surmountable. I also knew that my biggest fear was maybe not giving myself permission to take the risk of career change at all. And that really motivated me more than anything else. Nils, it's such a great question. Thank you so much for sending this in. Next up, Julia asks, didn't you just get lucky changing careers in 3 months? So yeah, 100% yes, Julia. So from my last video, I explained how I changed careers in 3 months, and a number of things had to fall just right for that to happen. So I needed a huge amount of luck. I needed the right job to be advertised at the right time for me to see it, as well as the recruiters taking a chance on someone who came from a very different career. That said, there's nothing aspirational about pursuing career change in under 3 months. It's not a race. It's okay if career change takes a number of years. As for luck as its own topic, Julia, I think that's always played a massive part in any kind of job hunting or career change. Careers professionals like me might not always talk about luck, Julia, because maybe we feel like we want to put the focus on what people can do, but ignoring or downplaying luck entirely just helps no one. Me personally, I've always tried to put myself in positions where I could get lucky. Thank you so much for your awesome question. The final question comes in from Brian, who asks more of a philosophical question in response to the video I made on why I quit investment banking. Brian asks, I'm curious as to whether large amounts of wealth makes people happy. This is a big one. So working with wealthy people, Brian, I think I noticed that money did equal happiness only up to a point, where people could provide for their needs, their housing, provide for loved ones, etc. Beyond that, it wasn't super clear to me what the return was necessarily, and there's a great deal of research that backs this up. Also, in psychology, the idea of hedonic adaptation describes returning to our normal levels of happiness very quickly after something really good or bad happens. I can remember on the trading floors around bonus days and when bonuses were paid out, you wouldn't think a day or two after that life-changing sums of money had been transferred to people. And I think it's evidence of precisely this type of hedonic adaptation. What I did observe, Brian, was that super wealthy people just have a load of other fears that come rushing in. Bottom line, I think money and its effect on happiness is something that we all want to test and experience for ourselves, and I can't blame anyone for wanting that. Brian, it's a really good question. Thank you so much for asking it. As for you, dear viewers, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for submitting your questions, and know that you can always do that in the comments section down below. I love responding. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. I'll catch you next time.